And I'm going to introduce you now to the founders of Patriot Week, Judge Warren and his daughter, Leah. Michael Warren and Leah. First, Leah. Leah, how old are you?
12.
12 years old.
Hi everyone, and thank you so much for coming to Patriot Riders today. Today I want to talk about how Patriot Week started and why it's important to kids, and why kids above all people really seem to enjoy Patriot Week. I think to truly understand Patriot Week and why we started it, you can't just know about what we celebrate, but you must also know why we thought of it and how it came to be. So first off, I'm Leah, the co-founder of Patriot Week. My dad and I founded Patriot Week when I was 10, so in 2009. The day we came up for the idea was a very special day. Not just because we came up with Patriot Week on that day, but because it was just me and my dad, a 1 out of 365-day chance. We were eating lunch at my favorite restaurant at the time, a Japanese steakhouse. We were enjoying our lunch when my dad started talking to me about the article he had just finished about Kwanzaa and how it was created by a professor in his basement in the 60s. I'm almost positive it was around a holiday because my dad started talking about the sales on that particular holiday and how it made him very mad. I think I was as mad as him, or even madder, because he claims I pounded my hand on the table and said we have to do something about this. And we did. So that's how Patriot Week started, a conversation at lunch. Now, after 2 years of having Patriot Week, scores of schools and other organizations participate in Patriot Week every year. It's very interesting to see kids my age participate in Patriot Week and how they show as much participation and interest as me and my dad. The reason I have found that important to kids is because many kids believe in America and believe that it's the most important nation in the world. And when they see that the first principles are being lost, it's sad to them. They really want to make a difference and stop it. That's also why it's really seem to enjoy Patriot Week above all people, because kids always are told that they have the power to make a difference in the world. And they really can. Instead of just watching people make a difference, they're making a difference by celebrating Patriot Week. So now you know how Patriot Week truly started and why kids seem to really enjoy Patriot Week and why it's important to them. Thank you very much for coming to Patriot Riders. God bless you and God bless America.
Good afternoon. I am Judge Michael Warren, better known as Leah's father. First off, I want to say I want to thank the Lord for giving us this beautiful weather in light of what seems like a monsoon season that has struck Michigan. And I want to thank you for all coming out and spending a Saturday afternoon where you could be doing lots of other things. And it really heartens Leah and myself to see so many dedicated patriots come out and spend your time and energy and treasure with us here today. I want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I've had kind of a rough week at work and other places, and I was really enheartening to see all you folks out here. So thank you very, very much. Now, why are we here? When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to assume the state. Let me start that over again. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitles them. A due respect for the opinion of mankind requires that they should declare the causes that impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That when any form of government becomes destructive of those ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to establish new government, laying its foundation on such principles, and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Those words from the Declaration of Independence were revolutionary in 1776. They remained revolutionary in 1789. They remained revolutionary in 1820. They remained revolutionary in 1900. They remained revolutionary in 1945, and they remain revolutionary today. And despite all the controversy about America and our role on the world stage, and you know, if you read American history, America has always been controversial on the world stage. From the very moment we began, and every single day thereafter, most of human history and most of humankind has been in a place extremely different than America. And so we've been controversial. But it's, as our last speaker just said, and the speaker before, we're controversial because we stand for what is right. We stand for liberty and freedom. And that's something that is very rare and very precious in the course of human history. In fact, most countries in the world have been formed by the accidents of history, by who won the last battle, by the language that people spoke or the clothes that they wore, where the river Nile ran, or where the Alps stopped. And in 1776, we said, no, we are very different than all the other countries that have ever been formed. We're going to be established on what we believe, on founding first principles. And we said it straight up in our Declaration of Independence. This is what we stand for: the rule of law, equality, limited government, the social compact, unalienable rights, and the right to abolish or reform an oppressive government. And then we took those declarations, those principles, and put them into our governing law, in our Constitution. And so not only is our origin unique, but how we govern ourselves is unique. We laid out the principles and then embodied them in the Constitution. Now, we have put all that at grave risk. And I say we because as a republic, we are responsible for our future. That's what being a republic is all about. The social compact says we create a government, and we have a compact with the government. We have certain responsibilities and certain duties, and the government has certain responsibilities and certain duties. And a fundamental part of our responsibility, which we have utterly and totally failed to accomplish, is to remember what makes us free and to transmit that to future generations. Now, I happen to be a former member of the State Board of Education, and I know a lot about what's going on in the education world. I'm still a chairman of a nonprofit school, Cornerstone Schools. I'm still very much involved in education reform, and it's very scary what's going on out there. See, public schools were originally formed basically for two major reasons. The first was to allow people to read so that they could read the Bible and be saved. And the second reason was to prepare people to be responsible citizens in our republic. To have them be informed so that they could go out and vote, go out and campaign, and run the government in a way that was adhered to our founding first principles and our foundation of our Constitution. And so what have we done over the last couple of generations? We teach everything other than our founding first principles and our Constitution. We have totally denigrated our history and civics education. We're at the point where not only do people not understand it, but apparently there's a whole culture out there that's embarrassed about what it is to be an American. Because they don't want to talk about our history. They don't want to talk about our foundations. They don't want to talk about what makes us free. And we're fools to believe that we can continue to keep our freedom if we don't understand where it arises. Now, Leah told you the story about how Patriot Week began. And, you know, really, if you think about it, why should we have to have a one-week period to celebrate what makes America great? You know, inherently, that's kind of silly. We are Americans, we're citizens, we should this should be part of our DNA. We shouldn't have to have set aside a special week. But the reality is, we have come so far away from our founding first principles in history that we need the week. And part of that is because we have ruined our prior civic calendar. When we declared independence, John Adams wrote to his wife Abigail that the anniversary of that day would be forever remembered. It would be marked by pomp and circumstance, parades, speeches, bonfires, and illuminations in the sky from one end to the other, from one end of the continent to the other. And he was right. But he also wrote it ought to be a solemn day of devotion for the blessings of liberty. Now, I don't know about you, but the last time I had a hot dog at July 4th party was not a particularly solemn occasion. And we have done that same ruining of our civic holiday of Independence Day with all of our other holidays. Washington's birthday, Lincoln's birthday, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Thanksgiving, Armistice Day. They've all been ruined. They've all become empty excuses for a 3-day weekend, for a barbecue, for a sale, whatever it is. The founder of our country used to have his own day. The father of our country, George Washington. And the great emancipator, Lincoln, used to have his own day. And what have we done? We've squished them together and celebrate them with the same vigor as Franklin Pierce and Benjamin Harrison so that we can have a carpet sale. Okay, that's what we've done with President's Day. And we can go through all the other holidays. We just had Memorial Day. And what have we done with that? It's the kickoff of summer. Let's go have a barbecue. I can't tell you how many people told me Happy Memorial Day. That seems to be a contradiction in terms. It's like Happy Yom Kippur. You don't say Happy Memorial Day. It's an important day. We commemorate our sacred dead. Not anymore. So as Leah and I were talking, we said, we really need to reestablish a civic calendar. And we looked at the calendar, and we figured out September 11th through September 17th is a 7-day period. Now, we all know what September 11th is, although there are many students that nowadays don't know. Because now it's been 10 years, and that's long enough in American history to totally kind of forget with the amnesia that we have. And so younger people I would, Leah's age and younger, who really weren't cognizant of what was going on, you go into a classroom and you say, what happened on September? This literally happened. I went in and I said, we were here during Patriot Week. I said, and they had a commemoration, September 11th. I said, that's great. Can you tell me why you had this commemoration? They had firefighters and policemen and stuff. They said, well, because it's September 11th. I said, yes, but what happened September 11th? Somebody raised their hand and said, well, the Twin Towers, they collapsed. I said, that's right. What happened? Well, lots of people died. I said, yes, but why did the Twin Towers collapse? I said, well, because planes flew into them. I said, that's right. Why did the planes fly into them? Same answer I'm getting now. Okay, none of the kids can answer it. I said, did you know that these people caught terrorists who took over the planes and they slaughtered the people and they cut their throats and they took over the plane and they flew in? They had no idea. Okay, and if we've lost that current event, our true understanding of that, then no wonder they're struggling with the American Revolution and the Civil War and the great civil rights struggles for gender equality and racial equality. So Leah and I decided, Leah actually pounded on the table, like she said, and said, we need to do something about this. And we did decide to model the Kwanzaa model, which was invented in the basement of some professor out in California. Great holiday, have no problems with it. We said, we're going to do the same thing for America. And that's how Patriot Week started. And it's really become a movement. And it's happened in about a dozen states with schools, Rotary clubs, Kiwanis, and lots of other things. And it's very important that movement continue to expand. Because believe it or not, there are actually people that don't support Patriot Week. They think it's a waste of time. They think that it's not important. We are having a problem with the state legislature right now. The state house is not going to vote on Patriot Week right now. We're going to change that, hopefully. But what's happened is the state Senate passed we had resolutions in the past, House and Senate resolutions, unanimously adopted bipartisan. So we went back, we said, let's make it permanently recognized. Let's put Michigan on the map for renewing the American spirit. And we got very enthusiastic co-sponsors. And in the Senate, it sailed through, 38-0. When was the last time you heard a bill sail through the Michigan Senate 38-0, right? We're like, yes, we're on a roll. We went to the House, passed unanimously from the committee, 11-0. Great, we're on a roll. Leah and I went and testified, we were very excited. Okay, let's get it done. And what have we been told? Well, If we pass Patriot Week, then some other special interest group might ask to have their own day too. I didn't know America was a special interest group. I didn't know that the foundation of our country, the rule of law, equality, unalienable rights, limited government, the social compact, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Susan B. Anthony, Martin Luther King Jr. were special interest groups. There's something seriously wrong when you have political leaders not willing to stand up for the country. They took an oath, the same oath I did, to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Michigan. And they're saying, well, I don't want to support Patriot Week. There's a serious problem. And that problem is emblematic of what's going on in the entire country. We have a country which is threatening our own survival. Our greatest threat today is not terrorist and economic chaos. It is the inability of us to remember who we are as a people. Because it doesn't matter if we're wealthy, it doesn't matter if we can travel overseas and have all the gizmos and play with the Wii, if the government becomes the monster that some are concerned it will become. And if we don't remember what it means to be an American, those founding first principles and adherence to the Constitution, who cares if you have money if you're a slave? And that's what the founding fathers said. The tea tax made the tea less expensive. And they said, we're not going to pay the tea tax, not because of the price, but because we don't want to be slaves to England. And that's what they fought for. And that's what's at risk here today. So I want to thank you for your time. I hope that this will encourage you to get more involved. Join Patriot Week. We have our efforts. I'm selling books, and there's paraphernalia over in the tent over there, and there's auctions, and you've heard all that. And that's all nice. But what's really important is for you to get reinvigorated, to go out into the community, say, we're not going to take it anymore. America matters. America is the beacon of liberty for the entire world, and if we go down, the rest of the world goes down. I don't know about you, but I plan on doing something and fighting like hell every single day. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Judge. I think it's our good friend to the north who comes in from time to time that writes for the Canadian Free Press who says, without America, and she's not an American, without America, there is no freedom. Think about it. It's a frightening thought, but it's true.